welcome to your sleep story. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Whatever this day was, however long it felt, however much it carried, it is behind you now, completely behind you. You made it through, and that is everything. So let's begin. Before I take you anywhere tonight, I want to count you down from 10 to 1. And as I count, I want you to allow yourself to sink just a little deeper into wherever you are right now. Feel the weight of your body. Feel what is beneath you, holding you. And with each number, just let go a little more. 10. Allow your eyes to close. Gently, completely. There is nothing you need to see right now. 9. Feel your shoulders and let them drop as far as they want to go. 8. A slow breath in through the nose. 7. And all the way out. 6. Your hands. Feel them opening. Whatever you've been holding today, you can put it down now. 5. Your jaw is soft. Your face is soft. 4. Your legs are heavy, warm. 3. You're drifting, not asleep yet, but moving that way. 2. The day is behind you, completely and entirely behind you. 1. And now, tonight's sleep story, the relaxation. Before we go anywhere, I want to stay here with you for a moment. Just here, just now, because this moment, this exact moment right now, where you are lying in the quiet, deserves a little attention, a little kindness. Take a breath in for me, from the very bottom of the belly. Good, and let it go. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine that everything you were carrying today, every worry, every unfinished thought, every heavy thing is just leaving with that breath, just drifting away. You don't have to solve anything tonight. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to be anything other than exactly what you are right now. A person who deserves rest. A person who deserves sleep. Because you do. You really do. Whatever happened today, however hard it felt, however much it carried, you made it through. You are here. And that is enough. That is more than enough. You are safe. And you are here. Bring your awareness gently to your feet now. Just notice them and allow them to soften. The toes uncurling, the arches releasing. All the small held tension of the day simply letting go. Let that softness travel upward, through the calves, through the knees, the thighs. All of it warm, all of it heavy, all of it resting now. Your lower back, your hips. Allow yourself to feel the surface beneath you taking your weight completely, fully. You don't have to hold yourself up anymore. The earth has you. The old sand and stone have you. The belly soft, the chest soft, the heart beating steadily as it always has, as it always will. Your shoulders dropping, your arms heavy and warm, your hands open and still, the neck long and loose, and your face, let the jaw go. Let the forehead smooth. Let the eyes be completely still behind their lids. There you are, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, completely soft, completely warm, completely at rest. You've done beautifully. Now, let me take you somewhere the Atlantic pushes its dark swells steadily against a low shore, and a white lighthouse makes its patient sweep over the water every few seconds, and a small Cape-style cottage sits close enough to the tower to hear the mechanism turn. Its windows fogged with the warmth inside against the autumn sea air outside. Come with me, the road out to the Cape. Imagine a road on Cape Cod, not the main route, Route 6, the spine of the Cape, busy with summer traffic even in autumn. One of the side roads, a road that leaves the main route and heads south, or east, or simply toward the water, its surface going from asphalt to packed sand to 2 ruts in the dune grass before it arrives. Finally, at the place it was always going, the outer Cape, Truro, Wellfleet, Provincetown's outskirts, the narrow, curving, outstretched arm of land that hooks into the North Atlantic, and that has been, for as long as European ships have been navigating these waters, one of the most dangerous passages on the entire eastern seaboard. The shallow shoals, the shifting sandbars, the fog that rolls in from the cold Labrador current meeting the warmer Gulf Stream air, the fierce nor'easters that arrive without sufficient warning to give a sailing vessel enough sea room to avoid the lee shore. The graveyards of Cape Cod hold the evidence. More ships have wrecked on these outer shores than on almost any other stretch of the American coastline, which is why the lights were built. The lighthouses of Cape Cod, Highland Light in Truro, Nauset Light, Race Point, Wood End, Long Point, standing on their dunes or their bluffs, their beams cutting through the fog and the dark, marking the hazards, guiding the ships that survived to add their own passage to the sea's long, complicated accounting. Tonight's light stands at the end of this road, its beam already visible from several kilometers away, sweeping steadily across the darkening sky. You follow the road to its end, the cottage behind the lighthouse, between the tower and the old boathouse at the property's edge, the keeper's cottage. It is not large, Cape-style construction, 1.5 stories, white cedar shingles weathered by salt air to a soft, beautiful gray, the wood's grain raised by decades of coastal weather, each shingle slightly different from its neighbors in the exact degree of its weathering. Low roof, wide chimney, 2 windows facing south toward the ocean and the lighthouse tower, a small covered porch where a wooden bench faces the view, the lighthouse, the dunes, beyond them the Atlantic. The cottage is old, not the original keeper's dwelling, which was built in the early 19th century and has since been replaced or substantially modified, but old enough, built in the 1920s, its basic form and its essential materials continuous with the whole tradition of this coast's domestic architecture. A light burns in the kitchen window, another warmer and more amber in the front room. The lighthouse beam sweeps overhead. Every 8 seconds, you can count the interval once you know it, 8 seconds of dark, the sweep of light through the dusk, illuminating briefly the dunes and the beach grasses and the cottage's weathered shingles, and then moving on, continuing its patient, tireless circuit of the horizon. 8 seconds. You push open the garden gate. You walk up the path toward the cottage door. The first breath, the salt air of the outer cape. This is a specific smell, not simply ocean. The Atlantic smells different here than it smells from other coasts, carrying in it the particular chemistry of the meeting between the cold Labrador current and the warmer inshore waters, the particular richness of the shallow offshore banks, where the sea life that has always drawn fishing fleets to these waters continues its own ancient, productive cycles. Salt, seaweed, the particular mineral smell of cold salt water arriving on a sandy shore, different from the warm Mediterranean salt pan's chemistry, different from the Irish shore's mineral-rich Atlantic rock smell. Something colder, sharper, with an edge of the coming winter in it, even in early autumn. Beneath the sea smell, wood smoke, the cottage's chimney drawing its fire into the cooling evening, the smoke bending seaward in the offshore breeze that is the outer cape's prevailing wind pattern in autumn. The land cooling faster than the sea, the cooler land air moving toward the warmer water, and beneath the wood smoke, the beach grass, the American beach grass, Ammophila breviligulata, that stabilizes the dunes all across this outer cape, its dry, salt-bleached stalks making a particular sound in the wind, a dry rustle that is one of the most characteristic and most peaceful sounds of this entire stretch of coast. You open the cottage door. Henry, he is 66 years old. His name is Henry. He is not, in the technical modern sense, a lighthouse keeper. The lighthouse has been automated for decades, its Fresnel lens replaced by a modern rotating optic, its fog signal triggered automatically by electronic sensors rather than by a keeper's manual operation. The era of the resident lighthouse keeper ended here, as it ended at lighthouses across America during the middle decades of the 20th century, when the Coast Guard modernized and automated its entire network of aids to navigation. What Henry is, instead, is the caretaker of this property. The lighthouse station, the tower, the cottage, the boathouse, the fog signal building, the whole small compound belongs to a historical preservation organization that took it over from the Coast Guard some years ago. And Henry has served as its live-in caretaker for 14 years, maintaining the buildings, managing the occasional tour, keeping everything in the physical condition that its historical significance warrants and its preservation mandate requires. He came to this work from a career as a marine engineer, a background that has proved across these 14 years more relevant than it might seem. The mechanical complexity of the lighthouse's original equipment and the practical demands of maintaining century-old buildings in a harsh coastal environment, requiring exactly the kind of practical technical, self-reliant problem solving that his earlier career developed. He is alone this evening. His partner, Ruth, works in Boston during the week and comes out on weekends, an arrangement that has worked across their years together because Henry is comfortable alone, always has been, in the particular way of someone who grew up in a large, busy household and discovered in adulthood that solitude, properly chosen and properly inhabited, was one of the things he valued most. He is in the kitchen, making his supper. Something simple, chowder most likely, the New England clam chowder that is, on this coast, essentially a local staple rather than a restaurant specialty. Made simply and eaten simply. Its cream and clam and potato richness exactly suited to a cool Cape Cod autumn evening. The lighthouse beam, 8 seconds. Every 8 seconds, the light sweeps its arc. From inside the cottage, the beam is not visible as such. The light is above the cottage's roofline, passing over rather than through the windows, but its effect is visible. Every 8 seconds, the kitchen window, the front room window, the bedroom window facing northeast toward the tower, all of them briefly, very slightly brighter. The beams reflected light bouncing off the dunes and the beach grass, and arriving at the cottage's glass surfaces in a diffused, softened form, a faint, regular brightening. Every 8 seconds, Henry has lived with this rhythm for 14 years. He no longer consciously notices it, the way Wayan no longer consciously notices the bamboos creaking, the way Aino no longer consciously notices the sauna's particular smell. But if it stopped, if the light were for some reason dark for a night, as it has occasionally been during maintenance periods, he would notice its absence immediately. The darkness, or the 8-second brightening, should be feeling wrong in some quiet, bodily way. The light marks time the way a very slow, very steady, very patient heartbeat marks time. 8 seconds, 8 seconds. The history of lighthouse keeping. Let me tell you something about what lighthouse keeping was before automation ended it as a lived human practice. A lighthouse keeper's primary duty was simple in concept and demanding in execution. The light must not go out. In the age of oil lamps, whale oil, and later kerosene, this meant constant attention to the fuel, constant maintenance of the wick, careful monitoring of the lamp's output, and the willingness to climb to the lantern room at any hour of the day or night if any problem developed. It meant being awake, alert, and functional during the worst possible weather conditions. Precisely the conditions, the thick fog and the nor'easter, and the blinding snow squall, when the light was most needed, and when the temptation to stay inside and away from the tower's exposed upper structure was most powerful. It meant keeping meticulous logs. Every lighthouse keeper in the Coast Guard system was required to maintain detailed daily records, weather observations, ships passing, equipment status, fog signals activated, any incidents or anomalies noted with date and time. has read many of these old logs. The Lighthouse station's small archive holds records going back to the lighthouse's early period, the handwriting changing from keeper to keeper across the decades, the basic format remaining the same. Each entry, a small, specific, precisely dated notation of what this particular piece of coastline experienced on that particular day. Fog, northeast gale, schooner passing 600, lens cleaned, fog signal activated 340. These are not dramatic entries, but accumulated across years, across decades, across the entire tenure of each keeper who served at this station. They constitute something remarkable. A continuous, detailed, ground-level record of this coast's weather and maritime traffic across more than 100 years of observation. Henry sometimes reads these logs on quiet evenings. He finds in them a particular quality of companionship, the sense of all the previous occupants of this same cottage, keeping their own watches, making their own careful notations, sharing with him, across the gap of time, this same small compound of buildings, this same 8-second rhythm, this same exposure to the same coast's weather. The fog signal. In an earlier era, the fog signal was one of the Lighthouse station's most significant pieces of equipment. The trumpet, or the diaphone, or the diaphragm horn that sounded at regular intervals into the fog when the light was invisible, giving ships auditory navigation when visual navigation was impossible. The fog signal building still stands at the property's edge. A small, solid brick structure whose interior now holds nothing more dramatic than a storage area for Henry's maintenance supplies. But on foggy mornings, and there are many foggy mornings on the outer cape, the cold current and the warm air producing exactly the conditions for the dense, disorienting fog that has been the particular hazard of this coast throughout its maritime history. Henry sometimes stands at the fog signal building's door and thinks about what it was like to tend that sound, to be responsible for a sound that ships depended on, to know that somewhere out there, in the blinding white nothing of a New England fog, a vessel was listening for your signal, adjusting its course by the direction and timing of what you produced. This thought, the enormous, practical, life or death consequence of simply continuing to produce a regular sound in the fog, has struck him across 14 years as one of the most concentrated expressions of what lighthouse keeping actually was. Not glamour, not isolation, simply this: showing up reliably at every hour, in every weather, to do the one specific thing that the ships needed you to do. The light must not go out. The signal must not go silent. The beach grass. Henry walks in the evenings, not always far, sometimes just to the lighthouse tower's base and back, a circuit of the whole compound, a practical check that everything is as it should be. Tonight he walks out to the dune line. The beach grass on the dunes at this hour, the dry rustle of it in the offshore breeze, the way it catches the lighthouse beam every 8 seconds and flashes briefly silver before returning to its ordinary dark gray, is one of the things he has come to love most about this place. It is a humble plant, Ammophila breviligulata. Its entire existence is devoted to one modest purpose: holding sand in place, preventing the wind from blowing the dunes away, maintaining the ground beneath the lighthouse tower and the keeper's cottage. It does this by sending an extraordinary root system deep and wide into the sand, far larger in proportion to the visible plant than almost any other grass species, the roots binding the sand grains together with a tenacity that allows the dune to maintain its shape against winds that would otherwise relocate it within a season. The plant itself, above the sand, looks entirely unremarkable, sparse, tough, unglamorous, doing nothing visible beyond existing. And yet its invisible, patient, continuous work is what makes this ground stable enough to be built upon, makes the lighthouse possible, makes the cottage possible, makes Henry's entire presence here possible. Henry has thought about this, the things that make everything else possible, that are themselves largely invisible, that do their work so quietly and so continuously that they seem, to any casual observation, to simply be part of the landscape rather than actively maintaining it. The chowder, Henry's chowder, made in the way he has made it for 30 years, which is to say, without a recipe, by feel, adjusted slightly each time according to what he has and what he wants. Salt pork, rendered slowly in the heavy pot, onions softened in the fat, the clams, small quahogs from the local market in Wellfleet, chopped, their liquor saved and added to the pot, potatoes, milk, cream, a little black pepper, nothing more. The chowder of this coast has been made in its essential form for hundreds of years. The basic ingredients unchanged, the technique unchanged, the purpose unchanged, warming a person who has been out in the cold and the damp of the North Atlantic coast and needs something substantial and simple and deeply, specifically right. He eats it at the kitchen table, looking out the window toward the lighthouse. The beam sweeps past. 8 seconds. The window brightens very slightly, darkens. 8 seconds. Brightens. He eats. He is not thinking about anything in particular, or he is thinking about the weather forecast. A nor'easter possibly coming Friday. The kind of storm that this coast gets 3 or 4 times a year in the autumn and winter. The wind shifting northeast and the waves building on the outer bars and the spray reaching up over the dune line in white, horizontal sheets. He has been through many nor'easters in this cottage. The building handles them well. It was built to handle them. What the lighthouse, TACHES. Henry has thought, across 14 years of living at this station, about what the lighthouse has taught him. The lighthouse teaches something about purpose without audience. The light sweeps whether anyone is watching or not. It makes its 8-second circuit in clear weather when there is not a ship within 20 miles. And it makes its circuit in dense fog when there are dozens of vessels depending on it. And it makes no distinction between these situations. The light is simply the light, doing what it does, for whatever the night requires. This indifference to audience, this quality of simply performing its function with complete reliability, regardless of whether anyone is watching, regardless of whether the performance is noticed, regardless of whether any given night actually needs the warning the light provides, has struck Henry across 14 years as one of the more useful models for a working life that he has ever encountered. Do the thing consistently, whether or not it is visibly needed at any given moment, because the moment it is visibly needed is precisely the moment you cannot afford to have let the habit lapse. The lighthouse also teaches something about the relationship between height and usefulness. The lighthouse is tall not for its own sake, not as a monument or a display, but because height is function. The higher the light, the further it can be seen over the horizon's curvature, the more ships it can reach, the wider the arc of ocean it can warn. Every meter of height exists in direct service of practical reach. Henry has thought about this in terms of his own work. The question of what kind of elevation, what kind of position or perspective actually increases your ability to be useful, and what kind merely increases your visibility without adding any corresponding capacity to serve. The lighthouse gets this right. Its height is entirely in service of its function. Its visibility is entirely in service of its purpose. Everything else in a well-designed lighthouse is stripped away. The fog comes in. Henry finishes his chowder. He washes his bowl and puts it on the rack. He goes to the front window. The fog, it has been coming for an hour from the southeast. The way Cape Cod fog comes, not dramatically, not in a rush, but steadily, the visibility reducing in increments, the far dunes first going soft at their edges, then disappearing, then the nearer dunes similarly dissolving, until now the lighthouse beam, sweeping past, illuminates not clear air, but the particular, beautiful, slightly disorienting opacity of thick Atlantic fog. The light still works in fog. It always has. This is, in fact, one of the few conditions in which its function becomes fully visible from the cottage. In clear weather, the beam is barely perceptible against the night sky. In fog, it is transformed into something enormous and immediately present, the light striking billions of water droplets and scattering back in a great white pulse that illuminates the whole fog bank for a moment every 8 seconds. 8 seconds of dark, then the pulse, the fog briefly lit, then dark again. Henry watches this for a while. The fog and the light making its way through the fog receiving it, both doing what they do. The journal at the the desk in the small front room, Henry's own journal, not the official maintenance log, which he keeps faithfully in the format the preservation organization requires. His personal journal. He has been keeping it since he came to this station 14 years ago, filling perhaps half a journal each year, writing in the evenings, in the particular handwriting of a man who was trained as an engineer and who writes with a certain practical economy of phrase. Each entry brief, specific, mostly concerned with what he observed that day. He is not a keeper in the old sense, but he keeps a log of a kind. The fog banks, the nor'easters, the birds. This outer cape is one of the great bird migration corridors of the eastern seaboard, and the Lighthouse station, sitting at the edge of the land above the sea, is a gathering point for exhausted migrants in autumn. The trees and shrubs of the compound, sometimes holding dozens of species in a single October morning. The whales, the humpbacks that work the offshore waters in late summer and early autumn, their blows visible from the lighthouse tower on clear mornings, sometimes close enough to the shore to see from the dune line. The ships, container ships, tankers, the occasional sailboat, the fishing boats from Provincetown and Chatham, working the bars in weather that Henry watches from the tower window with a mix of admiration and mild professional alarm. All of it in the journal, the same basic impulse that produced every notebook across this whole long series of evenings. The recognition that careful, specific, written observation is its own kind of value, its own kind of preservation. The autumn on the outer cape, September and October on the outer cape, are, for the people who stay through the closing of the summer season, one of the genuinely best times of year. The crowds of summer have gone. The Route 6 traffic thins dramatically. The parking lots empty. The beach towns that spent July and August accommodating enormous numbers of visitors return gradually to something closer to the scale of the year-round population. And the light changes. The summer's bright, flat, high noon light softens into something lower, more angular, more interested in what it touches. The way the late afternoon sun rakes across the dunes in October, throwing long shadows and illuminating the individual stalks of beach grass with the same kind of attentive specificity that you see in October light on every landscape that has this particular combination of latitude and coastline. The water becomes bluer. The summer's slight greenish warmth leaves the nearshore water as the Gulf Stream pulls further south, and the cold inshore water asserts itself, and the October ocean is a deep, saturated blue that the summer water rarely achieves. The birds, as mentioned, this whole stretch of outer cape becomes, in October, one of the great bird-watching locations in the Northeast. The migration funneling species that are rarely seen inland through these narrow peninsulas above the sea. Henry considers October the best month of the year. He always has, And this October evening, with the fog soft and thick outside the cottage windows, and the lighthouse beam pulsing through it every 8 seconds, is, by the standards of October evenings on the outer Cape, a particularly good one. The sound of the station, AT night. Let me simply listen with you from inside the cottage. The fog outside, the fog is audible as much as visible. The particular, slightly muffled quality that very dense fog gives to all surrounding sound. The ocean's surf arriving differently through fog than in clear air, softer, slightly more diffuse. The fog itself acting as a gentle acoustic absorber that takes some of the sharp edges off the world's ordinary sounds. The surf, not dramatic tonight. The nor'easter is still 2 days away. The swell's modest. The surf on the outer bar, a steady, rhythmic sound that arrives at the cottage as a low, continuous background note. The ocean's own unhurried breathing. The wind, light, the offshore breeze that has been steady all evening, carrying the fog in from the southeast, moving through the beach grass in its characteristic dry rustle, and moving around the lighthouse tower's cylindrical form with a very faint, barely audible whistle at the upper windows. The lighthouse mechanism, very faintly from the tower, the sound of the modern rotating optic doing its work, the smallest possible mechanical sound, audible only in the complete quiet of a still foggy night, when almost everything else has muted itself. And from the front room, the small wood stove, its iron sides ticking very occasionally as the metal expands and contracts with its fire's heat. The faint crackle of a small log finding its best position on the coals. This is what a Cape Cod lighthouse station sounds like in the fog on a quiet autumn evening. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent, simply the ocean and the light, and the small domestic warmth of a cottage doing exactly what a cottage in this place on this coast has always done. Ruth, Henry's phone shows a message from Ruth. She is in Boston. She will come Friday, as usual, arriving on the late ferry from Provincetown. Her message is brief. She is fine. The week has been long but manageable. She is looking forward to the weekend. She hopes the fog is beautiful. It is beautiful, he writes back. He puts the phone down. He looks out the window at the foggy, light-pulsing darkness. 40 years, he and Ruth. A long time. Long enough that certain things, the weekend ferry arrival, the shared breakfast at the kitchen table with the lighthouse visible through the window, the Saturday walks on the outer beach in whatever weather the Cape provides, have accumulated into a specific, irreplaceable, deeply comforting set of ordinary rituals that carry, in their ordinariness, a weight of meaning that no dramatic event could easily match. He goes to the wood stove. He adds a small log. He settles back into the chair. The light pulses through the fog. 8 seconds. The lighthouse AT night. Outside, the lighthouse does what it always does. The light sweeps, every 8 seconds, precisely, the beam travels its arc through the fog tonight, illuminating the water droplets in great, radiating pulses, and returns to its starting point and sweeps again. No one is watching it from this shore. Henry is inside, warm by his stove, but somewhere beyond the fog, somewhere on the dark water, a vessel is navigating. A fishing boat heading in from the offshore banks, a tanker making its way north toward Boston, a Coast Guard cutter on routine patrol. And for that vessel, the light exists. Absolutely, without question. 8 seconds, and then the light. 8 seconds, and then the light. The light telling the navigator exactly where this piece of coast is, exactly what the dangerous shoals to the north look like from this position, exactly how much sea room they have before the next landmark. The light telling the story of the coast to everyone who needs to hear it. In the fog, in the dark, every 8 seconds, without fail, you are drifting. You are in the cottage, or very near it, the wood stove warm, the windows fogged, the lighthouse beam pulsing very faintly through the glass every 8 seconds, the surf arriving at the outer bar in its steady, low, continuous rhythm. Henry is in his chair. Ruth is coming Friday. The journal is on the desk. The chowder bowl is washed and on the rack. All of it here, all of it holding you. Your breathing has slowed to match the lighthouse's own patient 8-second rhythm. Not quite as slow as that, but something in your body has found a correspondence with the light's steady, reliable pulse. A synchrony that is neither dramatic nor conscious, simply the natural alignment of a resting body with the most steady, most patient, most completely reliable rhythm available in this fog-wrapped, surf-edged, autumn-dark cottage. This is what a lighthouse keeper's cottage teaches, if you allow yourself to receive it, even only in imagination, even only for this one quiet hour before your own sleep arrives. The particular, deep, unshakable peace of doing one thing consistently, for the right reason, whether anyone is watching or not. The reassurance of a light that does not go out. The comfort of a rhythm so steady and so reliable that you can rest completely within it, trusting that the 8-second sweep will continue through the fog and the clear nights and the nor'easter and the quiet autumn evenings, exactly as it has always continued, exactly as it will continue. For as long as there are ships on this water and a light on this shore to show them where they are, you are safe here. You are held here. The light is watching. The last things. The lighthouse sweeps its arc. Every 8 seconds, the fog receives it. Henry is sleeping. The cottage holds its warmth against the autumn sea air. The wood stove's coals glow softly behind their iron door. The journal rests on the desk. The front window shows the fogged, light-pulsed dark. The beach grass rustles very faintly on the dunes in the offshore breeze. The surf moves steadily on the outer bar. The old logs are in the archive. The handwriting of all the previous keepers on all the previous pages. Ruth is coming Friday. The birds are moving through the dunes in the dark. The autumn migration continuing above the fog. The stars invisible tonight, but the birds navigating nonetheless by their own accumulated, inherited knowledge of where south is. The lighthouse sweeps. 8 seconds. The water receives the light, throws it back, makes it visible far out at sea. The coast is marked. The hazards are named. The ships on the dark water know where they are. The lighthouse sweeps. 8 seconds. Through the fog. Patient, reliable, without fail. Henry is sleeping. The wood stove is warm. The journal is on the desk. The chowder bowl is on the rack. The beach grass rustles, very faintly, in the offshore breeze. The surf moves on the outer bar. Steady, low, continuous. Ruth is coming Friday. The birds are moving through the dark overhead, navigating as they always navigate, by whatever knowledge they carry. The lighthouse sweeps. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. You are held tonight too, by this same steady, reliable, patient light, by the particular piece of something that does not go out, by the rhythm of 8 seconds that has marked this coast's dark hours, night after night, year after year, through fog and storm and the quiet evenings between. You do not need to navigate anything tonight. The light is doing that. You only need to rest in the warmth of the cottage, behind the fogged window, held by the surf and the light and the steady offshore breeze. You are safe. You are warm. You are held in the keeper's cottage, on the outer cape, in the autumn fog. The light will keep its sweep all through the night. 8 seconds, and 8 seconds, and 8, and you can simply rest. Good night, dear friend. Sleep well, sleep deeply. Good night, and